Welcome to Beyond the Broadsheet, a podcast by the Lincoln County News. We are a community newspaper based in Midcoast, Maine, and we provide the most comprehensive, in-depth coverage available anywhere of the 18 towns and one plantation that make up Lincoln County. My name is Christina Wallace, and I'm a reporter here at LCN covering the towns of Bristol, South Bristol, Noblesboro, and Bremen.
And I'm Juell. I'm the reporter covering Edgecombe, Whitefield, Damariscotta, and Newcastle.
In our last episode, we talked about live music recommendations in Lincoln County to catch before it gets too cold. In this episode, Allie will be kicking off her volunteering series with an in-depth look at her first adventure. She will be interviewing Bell Moroney, the volunteer coordinator at Coastal Rivers.
Stay tuned.
But first, here are some of the top stories from the Thursday, September 25th edition of the Lincoln County News. A suspicious device closes Newcastle Main Street. A device that authorities believe to be potentially explosive was found during a routine traffic stop in the early morning of Monday, September 22nd. During a search of the vehicle during the traffic stop, the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office found material that resembled an explosive device, according to Maine State Police spokesperson Shannon Moss. Moss said the device was secured by authorities and removed for further evaluation, which will include a laboratory analysis. The driver was arrested at the scene on an outstanding warrant and transported to Two Bridges Regional Jail in Wiscasset. The Newcastle Fire Department briefly closed down Main Street between Damariscotta Newcastle Bridge and its intersection with the River Road for roughly 3 hours, beginning shortly before 3 a.m. Due to the nature of the evidence that was found at the scene, the Office of State Fire Marshal has assumed the role of lead investigative agency. The identity of the involved parties is currently being withheld from the public as the investigation continues, according to Moss. Sheriff Todd Brackett deferred comments on the investigation to the fire marshal's office. He acknowledged his office, quote, could have done a better job putting out some information to address the public's concerns regarding the closure. Brackett said, I understand there has been some anxiety. That was not our intention. Until the state's press release on the subject on Tuesday afternoon, the only information available was the Newcastle Fire Department's announcements of Main Street's closing and opening on their Facebook page. It's important to note that I know that there is a lot of concern online going on about the lack of information, and as always, we can only report on what is given to us by the authorities. So I just wanted to make a note that we always do our best to communicate with our authorities and get information to you as soon as possible. And just know that that information will be released to you as soon as we know.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a matter of wanting to get information out, but it's also a matter of going through the proper and appropriate channels to get that information.
Yes,
So, yeah.
Absolutely.
In other news, Emergency Response Community honors former Waldoboro Fire Chief by Sherwood Olin. Firefighters, first responders, and law enforcement personnel from across 3 counties gathered in Waldoboro on Saturday, September 20th, to pay their respects to the late Waldoboro Fire Chief Richard Dick Glidden. Glidden, 92, passed away peacefully at his home on Tuesday, September 16th. On Friday, September 12th, the Waldoboro Fire Department chauffeured Glidden home from Maine Health Lincoln Hospital in Damariscotta in the department's ladder truck after he was diagnosed with terminal cancer the day before. On September 20th, the same ladder truck, followed by a procession of fire trucks from around the area, transported Glidden's body from the Strong Hancock Funeral Home in Damariscotta to the Waldoboro Fire Station for the service. Many members of Lincoln County's 18 fire departments came, along with members from a number of Knox County fire departments who share mutual aid with Waldoboro. Members of the Maine Warden Service, Marine Patrol, Color Guard, and officials from the Maine State Federation of Firefighters in Augusta, as well as members of the Masons and Shriners, were also in attendance. Glidden was a Thomaston native and lived in Waldoboro for over 70 years. He was noted for his devotion to his adopted hometown and for his devotion to the Waldoboro Fire Department. He became the town's first deputy fire chief in 1964 and served in that role for 42 years alongside his cousin, the late Waldoboro Fire Chief Bob Maxey. When Maxey passed away in 2006, Glidden succeeded him as chief and would serve in that position for roughly 2.5 years before stepping down. He was succeeded by the current fire chief, Paul Smeltzer. Smeltzer said, quote, even after he retired, he still responded more than any other member on the roster. For years, even as his health started to decline, he would still show up. He was really the cog in the wheel that kept us going.
That's really sweet.
It is.
Yeah, definitely a very touching story coming out of Waldoboro.
Yes.
Former director of Central Lincoln County YMCA paddle sports honored at U.S. Open. This is by our sports reporter, Mick LaBelle.
Yes.
The former Central Lincoln County YMCA paddle sports director, Lisa Gilbride, was presented with the New England Champion of Equality Award at the U.S. Open tennis tournament on September 4th in Flushing, New York. The Champion of Equality Award honors women who have worked to make the sport more equal and inclusive for players. Gilbride was celebrated alongside Billie Jean King and 15 other U.S. Tennis Association representatives. In her early days, Gilbride was a trailblazer at Providence College, where she launched the women's tennis program, was captain for both the tennis and basketball teams, and became the first woman to earn Providence's Athlete of the Year award in 1975. She led the paddle sports program at CLC YMCA for nearly 3 decades and worked to make tennis accessible to all with free programs, red ball lessons, and family stay-and-play sessions that offered homework help and nutrition guidance in addition to tennis. Gilbride said, quote, "Just getting the award was humbling and wonderful."
It's very cool.
Yeah.
Didn't realize we had such a tennis legend in our midst.
It's really cool to see people from Lincoln County being honored on a national level.
100%.
I think like ever since moving here, I have developed much more of an appreciation for what our community offers. And we have some really cool people in it,
100%.
including Lisa Gilbride. So
Very true. Newcastle nods a shared public works department, with Damariscotta presenting the same public works proposal on October 1st. The Newcastle Select Board expressed support for continuing to develop plans for a shared public works department with Damariscotta during a meeting on Monday, September 22nd. During a presentation on the project, Damariscotta Town Manager Andy Dorr and Newcastle Town Manager Kevin Sutherland presented general plans for the shared department, which included estimates for staffing and resource needs. Sutherland said the idea for a combined public works department was fueled by the belief that in-house services would cost less than contracted winter maintenance while providing an opportunity for more year-round service. If approved by residents in the Twin Villages, the department would hopefully begin operations in July 2028. The department's work would primarily be seasonal maintenance, including snow plowing in the winter and unclogging culverts and filling potholes in the summer. And residents of the two towns probably feel like they have heard about this kind of thing before, because the two towns did attempt an agreement from 2011 to 2015, but it was ultimately dissolved for a number of different reasons, including concerns about whether the cost savings were as much as anticipated. But everyone in attendance at the meeting, including Town Manager Andy Dorr, seemed to believe that the circumstances are different this time, and they're really going to work to try to set this up in a way that it will be beneficial and permanent for both towns. So
nice.
More to see.
Hopefully this will be a big asset for them.
100%.
Yeah. In news out of Bristol, a Bristol duo uses their individual skills to make custom cakes. Melody Sorois and Florence Martinez use their individual skills to create custom cakes and cupcakes in their licensed home bakery. During a chance conversation between neighbors, the two discovered they both have similar passions for cakes, with Sorois baking cakes and Martinez decorating them. They opened 2 Sugar Mamas in June of this year and cater to lots of different dietary restrictions. Sorois, who was diagnosed with celiac disease 6 years ago, wanted to alter her baking to not only fit her own dietary restrictions, but also fit a variety of others, such as dairy-free. So they have lots of different options that you can choose from. In addition to custom cakes, Sorois and Martinez sell their baked goods locally at Banyan Tree Food Truck and Oxbow Brewing Company. For more information, go to twosugarmamas.com.
Very nice. I love the name too.
I know. Apparently, it was inspired by the fact that they're both mothers.
Oh,
yeah, which is really sweet. And it was really awesome to see a place with gluten-free options, because I am gluten-free. So,
did you try anything?
I did not try anything.
Oh,
no.
You got to report back.
I will. I'll have to go get some.
Our own Charlotte Boynton went to Westport Island, where voters adopted deputy code enforcement position. 43 Westport Island residents convened at the town office Wednesday, September 17th, to consider a 3-article warrant that proposed creating an office of deputy code enforcement officer overseen by the select board. After a lengthy debate, the article was approved with little opposition, allowing the select board to appoint up to 2 deputy code enforcement officers for 1-year terms as the board deems necessary. Select Board Chair Donna Curry explained the town's upcoming revaluation is expected to generate more permit requests for the CEO, increasing the need for more personnel. The Marine Municipal Association was contacted and recommended the town to write a warrant article as soon as possible to legally establish the position, according to Curry.
Veterans honored at 19th Annual Quilts of Appreciation Ceremony, and this is by our very own Paula Roberts. Veterans from 5 branches of the military were recognized and honored at the 19th Annual Quilts of Appreciation Ceremony on Saturday, September 20th at the Charles E. Sherman American Legion Post 36 in Booth Bay. The event was organized by quilter Pat Johnston of Nobleboro and featured a volunteer jazz band ensemble. Retired U.S. Army General William Lazinski was the keynote speaker for the event. He thanked Johnston, the quilters, and long-arm quilters for their effort and time spent making the quilts. He said, quote, "Thank you for all you do to create these incredible works of art."
It's very sweet.
It is very sweet.
Very cool way to honor their service.
Absolutely. And they get to keep that forever, which is so cool. And pass it down.
Very true. Love
Yeah.
it. Our character of the county this week was Brianna Lawrence, entitled Brianna Lawrence Crafts a Career as a Contractor. Sherwood Olin spoke with Brianna Lawrence, a contractor in Jefferson who doesn't like to wait to get things done. She's been on the top of her game since she was barely a teenager. A licensed electrician, she has been working the trade for 24 of her 38 years, all of them spent working with Waltz Electric Incorporated, a company founded by her father, Arthur Waltz. Over the summer, Waltz and Lawrence traded places, with Lawrence taking on the role of president for the company and Waltz taking on the role of vice president. To learn more about how Lawrence gets things done, pick up a copy of this week's edition of the Lincoln County News or go to lcnme.com.
Sounds like a great duo.
Yes, very true. But in some final news, you got to attend a fiber fair.
I did get to attend a fiber fair. I had no idea what to expect going into it. But it was an inaugural fiber fair, and it was at the Pemaquid Mill in Bristol. And the mill used to be used not only for like grinding grain and things like that, but also processing fabrics. Right. And so they were bringing the history of the mill back to life. And there were different vendors there and demonstrations going on that showed the process of wool in all stages of development, from being sheared to being dyed and woven and spun and things like that. And it was really fun to go see it. I kind of felt like I was at a Ren fair. It was really great. The event was put together by Julia Lane, and it was a combination between the Pemaquid Mill and the Bristol Historical Society, which is right next door to that. So if you ever go, you can see Bristol history along with like actually walking through the mill, which was really cool. Nice. There were lots of cool demonstrations, and yeah, it was a really good time. And my favorite quote from her, because she said that this was all volunteer run. She said, "People jumped on board and I basically stood back and let the wheels turn," as they say.
As they say.
Yes. So it was really cool to see wool like going from what they call raw to like all the way into a product that you can buy.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
Very exciting. Yeah. It's one of the great things about this job is just learning about things that you would otherwise never think about.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. And it was a great day for it too. She said the turnout was really good. And moving forward, not really sure if they're going to make this a yearly thing, but that is definitely on the table. Nice. They definitely had been planning on bringing back more of the mill's history. So she said it depends on how the crowd responds and everything like that, and seeing what they can do differently for next year. But yes, very more plans are on the table.
Yes. Things are in the works.
Yes. So now Owie.
Yes.
We're going to be kicking off your volunteering series.
Yes.
Do you want to give a little bit of an intro to that?
Yes, for sure. Well, so I had tossed out this idea of basically just highlighting different volunteering efforts across the county because I said this in this week's editorial, but coming from California and Texas, I feel like I have never seen like volunteerism be so like crucial and interwoven into a community the way that it is here. And it's impressed me in a lot of ways just how I feel like basically every sector of life in Lincoln County like is fueled in some way by people giving their time like for no monetary like value or anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of just decided Coastal Rivers would be a great first organization to spotlight by talking with the staff there, talking with some volunteers to understand everything that goes into working there and all the benefits that come from it. So yeah, I got to go on the trails, I got to go out on the water, I got to like really get immersed in it all.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very excited to hear about it. So let's jump into that.
Let's do it. All right. So we have Bell Moroney. That's how you pronounce your last name, right?
Yes, you're doing it perfectly.
Good. From Coastal Rivers, their volunteer coordinator. As of when did you start?
April, mid-April.
Yes.
So, yeah.
So you're still fresh on
Still
it.
very new.
I mean, yeah. Well, so I've heard about like your history leading up to coming to Coastal Rivers, but could you recap it a bit for our listeners?
Absolutely, yeah. So I went to school in New York City for environmental studies and politics. And then after 4 years in the city, I was ready to never live in the city again. So I moved out west to California, joined a conservation corps out there, and started working on the trails kind of in Big Sur and Northern California, Southern California. Yes. And just, fell in love with conservation work, trail building. Did another corps in Colorado, and then I have a bunch of family in Maine. So came to Maine, worked on Hurricane Island for Center and Leadership as an educator for a season, doing a lot of marine ecology, and then missed the conservation world. So I jumped back in with Maine Conservation Corps as like a field supervisor. And then I found Coastal Rivers, which kind of, was my like perfect job, I like to say, because I get to be outside, I get to hang out and talk to people. So it's been a fun journey to get here, and I feel like I'm in like my ideal space right now.
Totally. I find it so cool that you like have gotten to work in so many different places, because I imagine like, I don't know, there's so many like cool, unique things about like all the different states you've worked in.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. It's been really, really cool. Yeah, like I'd never really been out west before, and it's just so big out there, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, I'm happy that I ended up in Maine though. Yeah, it seems like you have a fun journey getting to Maine too. So every person's path is different that ends up here.
So true. Well, so yeah, do you want to talk a bit more about just like what does your job entail, what it's been like getting into the groove, especially because like from what I remember, the volunteer coordinator position is like a new thing at Coastal Rivers.
Yeah, it is. So I joined as stewardship and volunteer coordinator in April. So I was joining the stewardship team, but then also trying to, figure out like a better management system for volunteering and trying to kind of, streamline it a little bit, because at Coastal Rivers we have just like so many volunteer programs like between stewardship and facilities, and then our education and community science program. It's just like there's so many opportunities for people, but it's also like a ton of people coming in, and like how do we best organize, how do we best like manage incoming volunteers. So that's been like a really big part of my job, is like figuring out like what is the best intake system. But luckily it's allowed me to talk to a lot of new volunteers. So like I get to be the first point of contact for them, which is fun. So either through like email or calling, I basically just get to talk to them, be like, what are you most excited about? Like, what do you want to do with coastal rivers?
Yeah.
Which has been really fun.
That's awesome.
And then I've gotten to work a lot with the stewardship volunteers, obviously doing our like trail tamers events, trail trimmers events, our bittersweet brigade. So
all the stuff.
yeah, spending a lot of time outside with people, which is great.
Yes. No, yeah. I like can't say enough about like how much I loved being at the Trail Tamers event.
That's so good. I'm glad.
It was genuinely just like so awesome and enriching. And I'm very intrigued by like all the other events since, you know, I only got like a little taste of like the kind of stuff you do. So
yeah, the Trail Tamers events are always just like so much fun. It's typically like the volunteer event for stewardship, at least, where we get the biggest groups, which is always fun.
Yeah.
But then it's also like, people are like really excited about them. They're like once a month, so it's something for them to like look forward to, like at the either beginning or end of the month. And all the volunteers are awesome. You got to meet some of, you know, our superstars.
Yes.
And it's just like hanging out on the trail together, but like doing the work, you know, like you cut down some trees too. So it's just like, it's really satisfying, but also like it's such a great like social community event as well.
100%. No, yeah. I talked to so many people about it afterwards. Of like, I was totally exhausted afterwards. I went home and took a nap, but it was like, I felt very just like, my cup was filled from just like getting to interact. And
absolutely.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a good type of exercise because it's like, you know, I think it's like it's a sustainable exercise too in a way.
Totally.
Because it's like you're going at your own pace, you know, there's no harsh deadline that we really have to follow for a lot of these events, which is kind of nice. So it's like, you know, we're going to try to get this done. If we don't get it done, like, there's other days for it.
Yeah.
I think, which is nice. Like, the trail is going to wait for us.
Totally. No, I appreciated that, like, I didn't feel as if I was like, we must get this far on the trail in the next 2 hours.
No. Yeah, we're not trying to run like a hard and tight ship where it's like, you must stay in line. It's like, we're all there to have fun. Like, everyone's just like contributing their time and energy, and we just appreciate them being there.
Yeah, 100%. Could you tell me a bit more about like how the Trimmers events and like the Bittersweet Brigade, is it, you know, very much the same thing, or is there like a lot of different components going on from
it's like similar and different, I would say. So for the trail trimmers, it's like a pretty core group of people that show up every week. These are both weekly events, so you know, not as many people as the trail tamers event, but the people we do get tend to show up week after week. So for trail trimmers, it's spearheaded by one of our volunteers, Joy Vaughn, and she walks a ton of our trails all the time. So she kind of, you know, has an idea of like, oh, this trail needs to be trimmed or this one. And obviously we help out as well, being like, I think we need to go to this one. But that one's also great. We like walk around with loppers, make sure like the ferns aren't encroaching, especially during tick season. That's a huge thing. We don't want people to walk off the trails with like 100 ticks. So we try our best to help out in that regard.
That's awesome.
And then Bittersweet Brigade, we have another amazing volunteer, Bob Barklow, who helps us out with that one. He's kind of our invasive guy. We hire him for some like contracting work. So we go out with him. This summer we were mainly focused on round top invasives. So it was a lot of, you know, jumping in hedgerows. We oftentimes get caught in rose bushes, barberry bushes. So you sometimes come out with, you know, some scratches on your arms, but it's definitely like one of the more, like, I feel like we often describe it as like it's kind of meditative, because if it's not meditative, it can be a little frustrating. But like once you step back and be like, oh, like all of this tree used to be covered by like an invasive vine and now it's like free to grow. It's like you have to like take a moment to be like, notice the absence instead of like a different kind of impact, I guess. So
no, that makes sense. Yeah, I could imagine it being a frustrating process, but knowing that you are doing something that is like enhancing nature like so directly.
And it's cool to like learn about the invasives too, because like if you come to Bittersweet Brigade, we like kind of show you like, oh, this is this is bittersweet, this is barberry, this is multiflora rose. And then unfortunately after that, you're going to see them everywhere. So along the roads on your own property, which, you know, it's a blessing and a curse. So
yeah, that's true. To me, you know, it all looks good, you know, all the nature. Thumbs up,
we could change that. So
get out there. Yeah. Dang. That makes sense. It was very crazy to me when I was like working on my story and looking at the volunteer interest form and like counting up all the things that were on there. I'm like 22 different things.
Yeah.
That's a lot to oversee.
Yeah, it's a lot. So we definitely, on our intake form, we have it like broken up like into pretty specific, like our programs. So like community science alone probably has like, I want 10 or 12 different programs that we have. And that's all Sarah Gladue, our community science director, has really just like grown that program over the years. She's been at Coastal Rivers for quite a long time and has, started, you know, Camp Mummy Chug, our like education camp, and has really like started all these amazing community science programs that I think people like every spring are like so excited to do. Like our horseshoe crab monitoring program, I know she had to run like 2 separate trainings because it was like everyone wanted to learn about horseshoe crabs, and
that's awesome.
Which is really exciting. But yeah, I like to say that like we have something for everyone.
Totally.
Whether it's like you want to be out on the trails or you want to be like, you know, doing water monitoring stuff, or you know, if you want to like help out at the front desk or with our events, there's definitely something for everyone. And I think the community is definitely super welcoming in any one of the programs you do. So
100%. So what is it? I know you said you're like the point of contact. You're like kind of the first person like talking with people when they like fill out the form. But like what are those conversations kind of like? And do you very often like have to field like concerns or just like points of worry about any given area?
So I'd say the conversations typically I like usually they filled out the form, so I have like a vague idea of what they're interested in, and I essentially just ask them like to tell me like, what are you most excited about here? Like what has caught your interest? So they, you know, tell me a bit about the programs that they're looking at, or like a lot of people have like just moved to Maine and they're like, really, I'm like looking for community and different ways to get involved.
Totally.
So we talk about that a little bit. And then I think, you know, sometimes people's worry is like, I've never done trail work. Like, can I go out to this like event? And it's like, absolutely. We don't have like any barriers of entry, I would say. So every event is open to everyone. So that's definitely something we try and highlight. Like, we will teach you everything you have to know, and like none of the things we do require like any sort of like qualification really. So like everyone can do it.
Totally.
Which is I think another awesome part of it.
Yeah. No, I mean, all of it seemed intimidating to me as someone who just like I've never like before this done really any kind of volunteering kind of stuff. So in general, like a new thing to me, but also, like cutting down trees and like going out on the water.
Yeah.
Like definitely I can understand why people might think it's like, you got to have like a certain set of skills to do it. But
anyone can do it. And I think definitely like the volunteers that we already have definitely like are really good about welcoming new people in and like showing them how to use tools, how to collect samples.
Totally.
So it's really cool that we have these other representatives that are just like such good members of the Coastal Rivers community and do like such a good job at representing who we are as an organization.
100%. No, yeah. Like just like going out on the trail and like being with like Betsy Evans and Joy Vaughn and everyone, like they were all just so sweet and like interested in like getting to know like me as a person, which is nice. And
they're the best.
They really are. Like Betsy is awesome.
Oh my gosh, she's so cool. That's like I just love like getting to know people. I think like that's like a big part of like the work that we're doing is like getting to know people in the community as well. It's like we cannot do the work that we do without like developing relationships along the way. It's a super important part to it. So
totally. Yeah, I feel like that must be like such a gigantic part of your job is just like getting to interact with like so many different kinds of people.
Absolutely.
All the time. It's awesome.
Yeah, and that's how you conserve land. It's like you make relationships, you talk to people about the mission, and you kind of share what you're passionate about and try to get them to be passionate about it too. And most people are like,
Totally.
I think a lot of people in this community love the area and love the land and the waters that they live on. So it's luckily in a place like this, it's definitely an easier sell, I think.
Totally.
Which is nice.
Yeah. No, I mean, I remember like at the volunteer celebration when I was talking to some people, like they were saying how, especially in a place like Maine, like people are so like environmentally conscious.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
like a place like Coastal Rivers is a great place to put like those beliefs and like thoughts about the environment like into action.
Yeah, totally.
Which is very true.
Yeah, it's a way to, take your passion and make it into something tangible.
100%. Well, yeah, I mean, as you're like kind of closing out the busy season, I assume, like especially your first like go around at Coastal Rivers, like how have you been feeling?
Pretty good. I mean, I feel super grateful for one, like getting this job. I think it's definitely a dream opportunity. All my coworkers are just the best. It's a really, really awesome office community. And then super grateful for all the volunteers that have welcomed me in, the board members, committee members. It's been a really great summer season. It was definitely kind of like hit the ground running as soon as I got in. Organize all these volunteer events, just like jump in head first. But luckily the landing was softened by the many people who are willing to help me out along the way. So I'm excited for fall. Yeah. Maybe it'll be a little slower, but we're jumping into monitoring season now. So I'll be getting to walk around a lot of our properties more, which I'm excited about.
Yeah, I feel like it's a good way for you to just like get super acclimated and like familiar with everything.
Yeah, no, totally. There's like, I'll like look down our list, be like, oh, what is this, small 2-acre place? And then I get to go out there, check it out. And of course it's another like beautiful, beautiful place. So
100%.
I'm super stoked.
And like volunteers help with that too, right?
Yeah, no, we have, I want to say 70 volunteers who help with our monitoring process.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it's a huge, huge part of staying an accredited land trust is we have to monitor every single property every year.
Right.
So we have so many properties, and it's amazing that volunteers are willing to go bushwhack through the woods to help us check that all and ensure that like everything's looking good everywhere. So
totally,
which is awesome. But I'm excited to go out with some of them. Yeah. So hopefully they'll let me.
I'm sure they will.
Yeah,
I'm sure they will.
So.
What else what else are you kind of transitioning into, like, with the changing of the seasons in your position?
I think there's definitely been some, just some tasks that I've had on my list for a while that I'm excited to check off, whether that's, like, some maintenance tasks or, like, bigger trails project, like some, small reroutes here and there. So I'm excited to start checking some of those things off my list. And then... being in the office a little more in the winter could be fun,
I love that.
Getting to hang out a bit more. Yeah. But really just looking forward to more time spent with coworkers, volunteers, and kind of finding where I fit in this organization.
Totally. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I do have to say, Stephen Huffnagel, spoke very highly of you at the volunteer celebration, and it was very sweet. He was like, we're very lucky to have her. So
Stephen's the best. He's great. We're very excited that he's back after his extended vacation this summer. So it'll be really nice going into fall with him back into the office. Just this week, I came in early, and as he came in, he was like singing a little song, and I was like, oh, it's so nice that Stephen is back. Aww. So that's been great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. Do you have any like big, I guess, personal goals at Coastal Rivers, like things that you want to kind of like champion? I guess?
I think my big thing is I definitely want to get more young people volunteering. I think that's like hopefully what I'm going to do over the next year, either through like partnerships with schools. I know like I'm hoping that we can partner with like Lincoln Academy. Yeah. We already partner a lot with the other schools through our education programs, which is amazing. Totally. So trying to kind of get some more volunteer power through that as well. Because, I think, education programs are amazing. They're, like, getting all these kids at the schools out into, like, the woods, on the trails. Sarah Gladue and our education manager, Angela DeVoe, they're really great. And then I think volunteering just adds, like, another aspect of, like, appreciating the outdoors. So
100%.
That's what I'm hoping for over the next year or so, of really expanding that.
That's awesome. No, I think, like, it's definitely really valuable to have kids, like, see what's going into, like, what's, like, just everything it requires to make these beautiful, like, places accessible to them.
Yeah, absolutely. I know before I started working on trails, I was like, wow, I wonder how, like, they got these, like, bridges in here, like, how they moved all this stuff. And it's like, the answer is, like, people just, like, picked it up and moved it. But it's like, you don't always know that. So, like, getting kids out there and, like, seeing just, like, the work that you can put in, and then your impact, like, it's such, like, a tangible thing that you can see. So
100%.
I think it'd be really cool to get more kids out. And, like, it's definitely a future career path for some of them. So get them started early.
In your footsteps.
Absolutely.
No, I do have to say, to be, like, completely frank, I don't think I ever thought before, like, about the work that went into making a trail. I think in my head I was just like, oh, just, like, so many people have walked through here.
Totally. And, like, I mean, that definitely helps. Like, people walking trails definitely works. But, I definitely, like, didn't really either of, like, oh, you have to, like, actually, like, cut through the forest and, like, smooth out the ground and everything else that goes into it. So, it's it is fun to have that, like, realization moment of, like, oh, people did this.
You don't just cruise through enough times and you have a trail.
Especially after, like, all the monitoring bushwhacking of, like, yep, there's definitely not a trail here.
Right.
Like, it's so much nicer to walk on a trail.
Yeah, very true. Very true. I feel like Katie Beaver also mentioned you're trying to do some, like, more volunteer opportunities that are, like, accessible to people who maybe, like, work during like the hours that some events are at.
Definitely trying to increase that. So I hosted one Trail Tamers after hours event this summer, so that was definitely aimed at, like, trying to get the people in the regular 9 to 5 jobs that, like, couldn't normally come, because most of our volunteer events are, during the day, during Monday to Friday working hours. So I definitely want to try to increase that moving forward, maybe have some fall events of more after hours.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah, the one we had was really fun. We were out doing bog bridging at Bass Rock.
Nice.
We had a little picnic afterwards by the water. It was super fun. Our intern helped us out with it. But awesome. I think there's definitely, like, some barriers to volunteering, and a lot of that is just, like, the times that volunteering events typically happen.
Totally.
So as much as I can, and I think Sarah does a good job of it at, like, letting people kind of schedule their own times for volunteering, we want to try to, like, expand our opportunities for people who do work in those, like, normal 9 to 5 hours.
Yeah. No, I thought that was awesome, because I definitely, like, I don't exactly work a 9 to 5 schedule, but I can totally understand, like, as someone working full time, it can be hard to, like, fit it into your schedule. So anything that helps to, like, squeeze it in there, like, after work hours.
And I think that's how we get, like, a more diverse volunteer base too, is, like, creating more opportunities for people. So
it's exciting.
It's very exciting.
I'm looking forward to seeing just, like, what's in store for you, and, like, continuing to work on some of this stuff. So,
and hopefully you'll come to some more Trail Tamers events. Bring your friends.
I really want to, because it just, like, was genuinely such a good time that I'm hoping to really come out again. So do you, like, do you have more Trail Tamers events coming up, or is it done for this season?
No, we'll have one in October and probably November, and those will be ours. Maybe December, depending on how the weather's looking. But I think next month in October we're gonna do a Trail Tamers events on our Riverlink Trail. Nice. So that'll be exciting. It's a trail that people don't often get out to. There's not too many visitors, so it'll be fun. I feel like it's a trail that not many people, or not everyone has seen. So
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, we'll probably be posting that soon. So definitely be on the lookout. That'll be another fun one.
I will actually do my best to
Yeah,
attend because I
that
would
would be
love to
awesome.
make it out.
Yeah.
It's a great way to like go to new trails because I am definitely very guilty of. I live near the Plumber Point Trail.
Oh yeah, it's an amazing trail.
It's an amazing trail, but I basically like only go to that trail.
Yeah.
I need to be more explorative with my hiking.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to like get attached to trails though, because it's like, oh, like this is my trail, and you kind of like feel a sense of like a little ownership and like home, like a home base there.
Exactly.
So it's definitely understandable. But yeah, I would recommend. You can go down to Tracy Shore. It's right by Plumber Point.
Ooh,
it's
okay.
also amazing.
Okay, I'm gonna need more trail wrecks from you over time.
But yeah, the volunteer events are a great way to see like trails that maybe you haven't visited or haven't heard of before.
100%. Makes sense. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, I feel like that's all the big questions I had for you, but is there anything else on your mind that you'd like to share with the listeners?
Oh, let's see. I guess come volunteer with us. Like, we always want more people to come out. We're always looking to expand our community.
Totally.
I think Coastal Rivers is a really special place filled with a lot of really special people. So everyone's welcome. We want like the community to feel like we are a part of them. So we'd love for you to come out. It's super fun. You'll get to hang out with me and probably some other staff members.
Yes.
I promise we're cool and fun.
Y'all are the coolest and the funnest.
Exactly.
I
Thank
can
you so
attest.
much, Allie. I appreciate that.
Of course. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate all the time you gave me as I was working on my story.
Yeah, we were very excited, and yeah, we all read your story this week, and we were like, wow, Allie's great. Like, she's such a good writer, and yeah, our board president was like, what a great young reporter. So yeah, we were super stoked to be a part of the story, and yeah, just grateful for the opportunity to highlight ourselves.
I appreciate that. Awesome. Well, thank you again.
Yeah, thanks, Allie.
Yeah. Thank you to our listeners, and we look forward to seeing you in our next episode of Beyond the Broadsheet next week. Thank you for listening to Beyond the Broadsheet, a podcast by the Lincoln County News. This podcast is produced by Lucas McNelly and Maya Zewert. Tyler Davis of Tyality Productions provides production support. Our theme music is by Stu Mahan and LCN Associate Editor / Bassist Sherwood Olin. The Lincoln County News hits newsstands across the county every Wednesday afternoon. You can also access our work online at lcnme.com. If you have a question, comment, or suggestion, please email us at info@lcnme.com. As always, we're grateful for the support of our readers and listeners in Lincoln County and beyond. It's been great catching up today, and we'll talk with you again soon.